The MacPro Help Desk team welcomes your suggestions for our training and reference materials. Please contact us with your feedback and comments on this training, or if you need other MacPro assistance. You may contact us via email at macpro_helpdesk@cms.hhs.gov or by phone at 301-547-4688.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Medicaid and CHIP Program System MacPro Quality Measures 2018 State Update Session. My name is Dennis Padua and I'm with IBM Watson Health, the education, training, and assistance contractor for MacPro. The purpose of today's webinar is to discuss updates to quality measures reporting for federal fiscal year 2018. Here are the presenters you'll be hearing today. We have Gigi Rainey from CMS and Allie Steiner, Colleen Statz, and Ella Douglas Durham from Mathematica to discuss policy updates. Before we begin, I wanted to note that this session is being recorded and that the phone lines are muted to prevent background noise. Please know, however, that we welcome you to ask questions via the chat feature throughout the presentation. We will pause periodically throughout the presentation to address them. To submit your questions, click on the chat button on the right-hand side of your WebEx screen and address them to the participant named Ask Me a Question. This is our colleague Avni, and she'll read them out during our question breaks. Let's briefly test out this feature. In the chat box, select the participant, Ask Me a Question, and feel free to add your name and location and what you are hoping to learn from today's call. I'll give you guys a minute to test this out. So here is today's agenda. First, we'll discuss technical assistance to support federal fiscal year 2018 reporting of the Child, Adult, and Health Home core sets. Then, we'll give a brief overview on MacPro. We'll also talk about access and roles information, and then discuss the system updates for quality measure reporting for federal fiscal year 2018. We'll also go over tips and tricks, as well as help desk and additional resource information, and we'll also talk about next steps. By the end of today's session, you will know about policy and system updates that are new in federal fiscal year 2018, some helpful hints for working in MacPro, and where to turn to for assistance when using MacPro. Before we get into the presentation, let's take some poll questions to get a better idea of everyone's background with MacPro and QM reporting. Poll question 1. Are you familiar with MacPro? If you are, please select the Raise Hand button in the participant box of the WebEx. Great, we have a lot of you that are familiar with MacPro. To lower your hands, you may re-click that hand button. Poll question 2. Have you used MacPro before for submitting core measure reports? Again, if you have, please select the raise hand icon in the participant box of the WebEx. You can also lower your hand if you didn't before. Great, looks like we have a lot of responses. People have used MacPro before. And a final question. Do you know who in your state submits quality measure reporting using MacPro? Again, you can raise or lower your hand with the hand button. That's great. We have even more people who know who their people in the state are who submit. So that's good to hear. For the first portion of today's presentation, we'll hand it off to Gigi Rainey from CMS to kick off the technical assistance to support federal fiscal year 2018 reporting of child, adult, and health home core sets.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Next slide. Hi, good afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, today we are going to be going over updates to the adult and child core set and technical assistance resources to support states who are reporting those measures. Next slide, please. During today's webinar, we're going to give a little background on the three core sets, the adult, child, and health home, CMS's goals for reporting, and some of the data resources we have for states. We're then going to dive into updates on the core sets and technical specifications for FFY 2018 reporting and more technical assistance resources. We're then going to spend some time going over the data quality process and what we focus on when reviewing data before we send our questions to you during SMI, for those who are familiar with it, which it sounds like most of you are. We're then going to provide yet more information on resources available to states. So if you haven't sent the theme yet, can you tell that we really, really want to make sure that you guys have everything that you need to report on the core set measures this year. We're then going to open up the call for questions and answers. Next slide, please. So we wanted to give a little bit of background about the core sets. Before we can even talk about the history of reporting, though, we want to give a big thank you to the states for voluntary reporting of the adult and child core set measures. States have been voluntarily reporting the child core set for going on 9 years and the adult core set for 6 years, and we want to say thank you so much for doing so. We also wanted to give you a quick reminder that the maternal and infant health measures are now included in both the adult and child core sets. So for states that have been reporting those separately, this year they are folded into the adult and child core sets. The measures in our core sets provide a way to help us to gauge improvements in health care being provided to children and adults in Medicaid and CHIP. Current quality improvement initiatives run the gamut from postpartum care to prevention and care for acute and chronic conditions, and most of those utilize our core set measures. The work that states and CMS do to improve data quality and completeness in their reporting helps improve accuracy and drives improvement in the care at the national and state level. Next slide, please. So we're going to give you a sneak peek at some of the data for FFY 27 reporting, which will be posted on Medicaid.gov in the next couple of weeks. 51 states voluntarily reported at least one child core set measure in FFY 2017, with 45 of those states reporting at least half, or 13 of the measures. The median number of measures reported by states was 18 this past year, which is consistent with FY 16 and an increase from FY 15. In addition, 21 states reported more child core set measures for FFY 17 than FFY 16. And just to remind you that when we talk about states, we are including 50 states and the District of Columbia. For FFY 2017, 43 states voluntarily provided data for the adult core set, up from 41 states in FFY 2016. So the two states that reported for the very first time are Florida and Wisconsin, and we wanted to say thanks a lot and nice work, guys. The median number of adult core set measures reported by states also increased from 17 measures in 2016 to 18 measures for the FFY 2017. And 32 states reported at least half, or 15 of the measures for 2017. In addition, 30 states reported more adult core set measures for 17 than FFY 2016. So we wanted to say a very strong thank you to states for not only improving their data quality and completeness, but also for reporting on more measures over the last few years. As you are no doubt aware, selected measures from the adult and child core sets are included in the Medicaid and CHIP scorecard, which has come out recently. And I'm sure that you've noticed the very last bullet that we have on there that says MacPro's opening soon for our 2018 reporting. and that our reporting deadline this year is January 11th of 2019. We'd like to encourage all states to complete their reporting by that time. Next slide, please. Now a little bit about our health homes, who they really wanted me to say not only a big thank you, but a very huge thank you to states for reporting on home health measures, as we know that we've asked a lot of you this year, and with the goal of aligning health homes reporting with adult and child core set reporting this fall, we're hoping to reduce the burden on states in doing this work. So for those that might not be familiar with the health home core set, they've responded to SMI for 4 years and reports for 2 years, and have done most of that work within the last couple of years. So they've had a lot on their plates, and they've done an amazing job, and we're really grateful to them for their hard work on that. Next slide, please. So continuing about health homes in particular, who is expected to report? Not all states are required to report for FY 2018, as the reporting requirements are based on the initial start date of your state's health home program. So if you need to learn more about that, please refer to the reporting table or contact the TA mailbox at macqualityta@cms.gov. As I mentioned a couple of slides ago, MacPro will be opening soon for FFY 2018 health home core set reporting, as well as adult and child, and the reporting deadline for health home is the same as it is for adult and child core set reporting of January 11th, 2019. Next slide, please. Yeah, I told you we'd have some resources, and we're going to have more available soon. On this slide, we have links to the various data products that we have available on Medicaid.gov. The chart packs highlight the frequently reported measures by visually depicting state and median performance through bar charts and maps, and the measure-specific tables highlight state performance on each measure. Just to give you a little bit of background, measures are publicly reported by CMS if 25 or more states have reported on that measure and the measure meets the threshold for data quality. And for those that just love raw numbers, we have that too. If you click on the link for the data sets down at the bottom, we have the data for the last 2 years, and you can run it and crunch it to your heart's content. Next slide, please. Note that both Florida and Wisconsin reported the adult core set measures for the first time in 2017, which we already said bravo, but it's always worth another thank you. And our theme here and our overall goals is to improve data quality, and to increase the number of states reporting the core set measures, which will then help support states using the core sets for quality improvement initiatives. I'm now going to turn this presentation over to Ali Steiner at Mathematica, who's going to review updates to reporting of the child core sets for FFY 2018.
The MacPro Help Desk team welcomes your suggestions for our training and reference materials. Please contact us with your feedback and comments on this training, or if you need other MacPro assistance. You may contact us via email at macpro_helpdesk@cms.hhs.gov, or by phone at 301-547-4688.